Hi guys, this is Chandeep Chabra at Goodly. I've got something very interesting for you today, which is 10 rookie mistakes while making a presentation. And I'm sure you guys make a lot of presentations at your work. Just make sure that you do not make these mistakes while making a presentation. So let's just get started. The first thing that you do is define your objective of the slide. Now, whenever you get any work from your supervisor or your boss to make the slide and you're trying to work around with different options in PowerPoint just to bring that out data a little better, most of the times the efforts that you're taking are formatting efforts or efforts to beautify the presentation rather than to understand the objective of the presentation. I'd like to explain this problem with the case here. So I have a case here which talks about a company. The company is talking about its different businesses in 1934 till 2012 and which year what business was launched by the company. Now if you just take a look at this slide, I don't see the slide as very responsive and very easy to understand. All I see is a group of 10 boxes with some information dumped into these boxes. Not a very good slide. Because I'm not very sure that the maker of this slide has really understood the objective of the slide or not. If you ask me what could be the possible objective on this slide, and if I read the text in the slide, I'll get to know that two things are very critical here. The first thing is that the slide is talking about the year in which it did something significant, and the second thing is that what business or what significance or what product did the company launch in that year. So two things are pretty critical in the slide. So I'll just use this way. Take a look here. So I've used a timeline here where I'm just writing the years, which are very important for anyone to know, and the business. So the two important things, if anyone looks at this slide the first, they will just see the two important things that we're talking about here. So they'll see the year and they'll see the business. And I think this is a much better way of presenting it because you understand the objective better, and because you understand the objective better, your slide comes out a little better. So the next time when you sit back and do the presentation, work with a pen and paper first, understand the objective, and then sit back and do the presentation part. The second one is not auditing your slides. Now, what I mean to say is by not auditing is mean that you're not paying attention to the details and you're leaving a little small errors somewhere in your slide. Let's just take a look at the case here. So I have a case here which talks about some activity like data loading and data cleansing and delta management and stuff like that, and finally the closure of the project. And this is how the schedule is going to go like, and these are the number of people that are going to be deployed on that activity, and this is the cost of the activity. And I think this is a pretty decent way to put together a slide. And if I look at the slide a little more closely, I will find a couple of mistakes. The first mistake is that I don't know if this is 3 days, 3 hours, 3 months, or 3 years. I don't know this. The other thing that is missing here is the cost. What is 3,200? Is this millions, or is this rupees, or is this dollars, or is this any other currency? And if you just see that the total of the schedule is also missing, the total manpower is missing, the total activity cost is also missing from the slide. Now, these little errors you sometimes tend to make in the slide, and I'll just tell you the best way to get rid of these errors is this. So do not look at the slide from the perspective of the maker of the slide, but try and look at the slide from the perspective of the person who the slide is going to, or the client, or the customer, or your boss. Just try and put yourself into the shoes of those people and try and imagine that what information could they be seeking, and is there something missing in my slide? And most probably you will tend to kind of get some more insights or get some mistakes out of your slide. The other thing that I'd like to suggest you is that apply a pair of fresh eyes to your slide. So if you're tired or something like that, just give yourself a little break and then look at your slide from a pair of fresh eyes, or get your friend to look at the slide and he'll tell you the mistakes. Point number 3, the 3D and the pie chart massacre. I've seen this a lot actually around the world, that people really contend a lot about using a pie or not using a pie, or using a 3D chart or not using a 3D chart. and I stand against using a pie, and I stand against using a 3D chart, primarily for this reason. So I'll not talk much, I'll just try and show you something. This is one graph here which talks about service exports, 3.72 billions in 2003, 6 different industries which led to these service exports. Now take a look at the graph and answer this question. Which industry is the second largest contributor in service exports? If you're taking any more than this time, I think then it's not really the right kind of chart. Now take a look at another case. We're talking about service imports here, which is 2.18 billion in 2003. 5 industries have led to these imports. Answer this question. Is the travel industry a bigger contributor or other industries? Again, if you're taking anything more than this to answer this question, it is not really a great chart. Is there a better way to present it? Yes, there is, and I'll show you that. I have the same 2 pie charts, put it in the bar chart, and if I ask you the first question again, which industry is the second largest contributor in service exports? I'm sure you can say financial services here because that's the second largest. And if you just take a look at the second chart and I ask you the second question, is the travel industry a bigger contributor or other industries? I'm sure it clearly sees that the travel is much bigger than other industries. Now, what I want to bring out as a message for you in this third mistake is that why are we not able to read the pie chart or the 3D chart better? Because our eyes are more intuitive to the length of anything than measuring the area. So here you were trying to measure the area and you're trying to find out which is bigger and which is smaller, but here you're just dealing with one dimension, that's the length, and you're just trying to find out which one is taller, which one is smaller. So our eyes are more intuitive to the length than the area. So that's the reason why you tend to respond better to bar charts than the pie charts. In a few days from now, I'm also going to post one more article on the top 5 or 6 reasons that I'll recommend you not to use the 3D chart or the pie chart. Moving on, the fourth thing is you're not using the slide master. So what is a slide master? Slide master really helps you to structure your presentations, make a skeleton of your presentations. I'll just explain you through a case. So I'm just going to a case here. We have a presentation here that talks about annual sales review. The next slide talks about last year sales performance versus this year. I don't have any data here because this is just a case that I'm drawing. And if you just take a look at this slide, what if I want to add another slide? The next slide talks about sales strategies, and if I want to add another slide underneath this, then if you are trying to copy the previous slide and then paste it in PowerPoint and then try to edit this part on the title and try to say some more information, then this is not the right way to add more slides. So I think it wastes a lot of time copying the previous slide and then pasting it and then editing the title of the slide and then coming up with a new slide or working in that slide. That's not really the right way to go about it. So I'll just show you. Okay. The slide master helps you save a lot of time, the first thing, because it creates a skeleton and you don't have to recreate the slides over and over again. Second, it brings a lot of structure and alignment to the slide. And the final point is that it saves you from managing too many objects in your slide, because what the slide master does is everything that you have to replicate in the slides, it can be the title or it can be the logo of the company and stuff like that, you can just put it in the slide master and the slide master will take care of that and bring it to the new slides as you keep on inserting new and new slides. Now if you don't know what the slide master is and how to use it, I'm going to give you links in this video, and you can just follow the links and you can then create a slide master of your own. Fifth point, fearing the white space. Now we have kind of moved from the first slide to the fifth slide, and I'm sure you're trying to realize that I use a lot of white space and don't fear white space. So generally, if you see the psyche of the people, if they find the space is empty, they will try and fill it up with what? With anything, any background or anything. So they will try and fill it up like this. So the problem here is that you have to then deal with white patches in the logo like this, or you have to deal with bad colors like this, and you have to deal with the background. And one of the other big problems is that apart from the white patches is that when you take printouts of the slides, the black color eats up too much ink and you don't get insights. I mean, the ink versus the insight ratio is too less. Now, these are all examples of pretty bad slides with black background. I'd not recommend you to have a black background or any kind of background. So I recommend you to start loving the white space. It's pretty neat, clean. You don't have to worry about anything. Printing doesn't become a problem, and you don't have to deal with the pictures and the colors. They don't become a problem. So that's the and you don't want to have problems in your business presentations, do you? Sixth, using too much animations for beautification. So if you're fond of using animations in your slides, then I'll say that use animations more meaningfully than just to beautify your presentations. Let me just show you something. Take a look at this slide. Company is talking about the midterm goals here, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So I'm not really sure if this is a great piece of work, and I don't think this animation is really making sense here. And if you've seen some weird presentations, I'm sure you've come across some weird animations like these. Some business growth and some numbers here, some stuff here, not really helpful, and then finally it says thank you. So use animations more meaningfully. If you're trying to know that I'm talking about using animations meaningfully, what could be a good example of this? So let's just take a look. This is the same timeline that we saw in the first objective slide, which talked about the year and the business. So I've just made it a little more animated, right? So I think this is a great way to present this, one thing at a time. And this is the year-on-year sales. So as the company is going forward in time, the sales are increasing. Then you talk about some human resources, right? So this slide talks about comparison of attrition, and 85% attrites are in the middle to junior management level. So I think that's a pretty striking thing that the company wants to bring out here. Okay, now just take a look here. I'm talking about quarter-wise exit comparison. Now what I want to talk about here is that I have the quarter-wise numbers here, that how does how does financial year 12 look like versus financial year 13, and I'm trying to hide or trying to subdue the other parts, and I'm trying to make a focus here which says that maximum attrition in Q2 leads to maximum hiring in Q3, and then I talk about more stuff here. So my animations are leading to my objective that I want to talk about attrition, and the animations are supporting the objective here. So use of animations, just follow this simple rule, okay? Just ask yourself one big question: is this making the message more easy to read? And if the answer is yes, please go ahead and use the animations. Okay, point number 7, which is too much text. Let's just take a look at the case here. Take a look at this presentation here. This is too much text dumped into the presentation, and you're trying to explain something, and I'm not sure if you want to do it this way, because if you have more amount of text in your presentation, then your presentation tends to get a lot boring. Then if you ask me that what is the best way to avoid text in the presentation, I'll say this: read and summarize and make it more insightful and crisp for the viewer to look at your presentation. So whatever text you're getting, you have to spend a little bit time with the text to read it, understand it, and then summarize it and put it in the presentation. Please remember that presentations are summarizing tools. Dumping information inside the presentation really doesn't make a great presentation. The second thing that I'd like to suggest is that you can use infographic icons to put across your message a little more better. If you're not very savvy with how to create an infographic icon and what they mean, I'm just going to be putting another link to a video that I made earlier explaining infographic icons and how can you use them. Point number 3, you definitely should include a lot of diagrams and chart to support your point in the presentation. So these are a couple of methods by which you can reduce too much text in your presentation. Okay, moving on to the eighth one, we're just almost coming about to the end. I'll just show you a short case to explain misplaced alignment in the presentation. The case is this. It talks about the Indians in the United States. Look at the logo, it's just coming over on the logo here, and look at Philippines here. The 3% is just moving in the row below, and this text is just going out of the slide. I'm not very sure if this is a very, very great piece of alignment here in the slide. And then this is center aligned. These numbers are not really aligned properly to the years that they belong to and stuff like that. So not really call this as a great aligned presentation, and alignment does really make a lot of difference in your presentation. And if you're wondering that how do I take care of the alignment, again, I'll leave some more videos and more articles that I've written earlier and posted earlier on the blog, and you can just follow along and get some great insights about how can you make alignment a little better. Not only that, what shortcuts do you have for alignment, but also how can you work with alignment with a lot faster. Moving on to the ninth point, which is not keeping versions of your presentation. When you do not keep versions of your presentation, the one thing that you miss is that you do not save the old ideas that you've already worked on with, because your presentations don't tend to get approved by the client or by your boss in just one iteration. You have to do 2 or 3 or 4 iterations to get them approved, or sometimes even more. So if you just keep overwriting your presentations, you tend to lose on the older ideas. And if you want to save them, you might just want to keep versions of the presentations as you go along, changing the presentation as per your client's need. And it really saves a lot of time in case you need to revert to the older idea, which sounds a little better than what you're doing as of now. So make it a habit of keeping versions of your presentations. It really saves you a lot of time. Last thing, overdoing the borders and the slides. Now, if you're one of those people who tend to do a lot of borders and the lines in the presentation, I recommend you not to do it. Why don't you see it for yourself? So we have some information here, some sector-wise average, some local best practice, and some viable best practice potential and stuff like that. I'll not say this is a great presentation, but if I have to present this, if I have to do a lot of borders in this presentation, then this is how it would look like. And I'm not sure if this is a great way to present this information. By just adding more borders, I have made the presentation more dirty. So what these borders, the sole reason of using or not using a border is to isolate or to group something together. So if you're using borders just to beautify something, I'll say that please shy away from using borders. Okay, I thought we'll just extend this with one little thing here, which is the bonus tip. Johnny, please check your spellings before you send that presentation to your client. This is very, very important. If I have to bring out the importance of checking the spellings, I'll bring it out in this way. Take a look. I think she looks extremely hot and extremely beautiful, but what if she had a black tooth? spelling mistakes are just like having a hot girl, a mole, or a black tooth on our face, and it is really a scar or a mar on your presentation. It really mars the quality of your presentation, the effort that you've put in to make a great presentation. And you certainly don't want to have that that black mark or the spelling mistake in your presentation. So before you send the presentation to anyone, to your boss or to your client, make sure to use the F7 key to check your spellings before you complete that awesome presentation, and then you can finally send it. These were my 11 tips that I had to give you for not making the rookie mistakes in your presentations. And if you're making any of these mistakes, please do correct them now. I will leave some good notes and some good resources in the blog, and you can refer to them, and you can make some awesome presentations at work. Thank you so much for being with me, and do take care of yourselves, and bye bye.